All right, welcome back to the group chat for another episode. It is Tuesday, 4th of March, and we have Goran. You're back again. How are you doing? Good to have you back on the show.
Yeah, I'm good, man, and great to be back with you. Awesome to see you again, Charlie. I suppose, is this our first opportunity to say Happy New Year?
Yes, I was thinking about that last night. Is it too late to say Happy New Year? Well, it is March.
Yeah,
Happy New Year, Goran.
Maybe it is too late, but we haven't seen each other since probably December. So Happy New Year, man. Hope it's been going well for you. And yeah, we're already 2 months down. It's just flying by, eh?
Yeah, I hope your 2 months of the new year were great. Now let's get into business.
yeah. Let's get into business. What do you need to discuss? What do you need me for, man?
Well, basically, I had Adam Blair on the podcast last Thursday, which was great. I did actually, I'm not sure if you heard, but I announced him as our first proper guest on the group chat, which was a bit of a kick in the guts for you. But I kind of more welcomed you in as a part of the group chat team. You know, you filled in for when Phil was filled in for Phil when he was away. So you're more part of the team than just a regular guest.
Yeah, look, I am a Phil filler. So yeah, I'm part of the team. And look, when you first said it, I took offence, but quickly got over it. It's just nice to be part of the Betcha team, the wider family. So that's the way I'm viewing it. Yeah, you've dressed it up quite nicely. What a save!
Yeah, well, I'd taken the time to think about that after I said that to Adam last week. But yeah, I just called out the Hail Mary. Phil still away. It didn't click that he was going to be away for this week. So here you are, Goran, saving the day once again for us. So thank you, mate.
He's got to be better with his communication and booking of trips, because I think last year he was only meant to be away for 3 weeks, 6 podcasts. Yeah. In the end, it was 4 weeks, 8. So, I mean, who knows? He might be away for like a year. And if that is the case, then I'm here, man. I'm here for you.
Then, okay, well, that's good to know. I'm glad. And I'll be more than happy to have you on with me.
Good, man.
Whenever we need. So I like it. Let's get into our top 3 things of the weekend, Goran. So our highlights, what do you got for me?
NRL season beginning. That's one. Number 2, goals galore at Mount Smart. And number 3, Tyler Bindon, who, you know, he recently picked up the Emerging Talent Award at the Halberg Awards. He scored an 85th minute winner for Reading against Wigan, which sort of keeps alive their playoff hopes in League One. And so, you know, like it's been a big time for Tyler Bindon. It's just nice to see him continuing to thrive after the Halberg gong, signing up for Nottingham Forest. He's such a talent, man. So those are my top 3 moments from the weekend.
Nice. I was tempted to put the Vegas part in my one, but it almost seemed a bit of a disaster the way the Warriors went. So
it was so bad.
Yeah, I know.
Who saw that coming, eh?
I mean, the bookies definitely didn't.
No.
We had them at about $1.60 favourites, 3-point favourites, and it just seemed like the lights were too bright for them on the big stage. But we'll get to that. We'll unpack Vegas and all that shenanigans. So I had the NZ Open, Ryan Peake winning it, the Aussie who came over. Great story. He had the 4 years in prison, ex-biker gang, and he obviously had a lot of spare time on his hands, and he came out and became a professional golfer, and he's just won the New Zealand Open, secured a ticket to the Open Championship, which will be somewhere in the UK. I don't know where it is, but real life-changing stuff for Ryan.
Was he a golfer before he went to jail, or did he learn golf in jail?
From my understanding, no, he hadn't swung a golf club properly before jail.
He probably swung a few clubs in jail. I don't know if they were golf clubs.
He probably had a good swing on him. That's probably where it came from.
That's where
good natural swing.
It's like you try and find transferable skills from one job to another, and maybe after 4 years inside, he was like, well, look, I could probably play baseball or cricket. I'm going to go with golf because there's huge money to be made.
Yeah, a lot more. I guess baseball, if you go down the baseball route, there's plenty of money to be made in the major leagues. But I think golf is your best bet. And I think he might have got there was a coach that was working with him, maybe straight out of jail, and he just said, "Yeah, the swing was supernatural." So away we went with it. And now
I wonder if this is going to be something that like golf coaches they start going around all these facilities and like, we're looking for someone with a strong swing.
Yeah,
who have you got? Oh, well, cell block D, man. We've got Charlie Wilson, and he's looking epic, man.
Yeah, he's been swinging the club well recently. It looks very natural. I think he'd be a good fit in your setup.
Great with a shiv as well. So, like, if you need someone, to disappear.
Just in case you need that too, if that's on your radar.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Ryan Peake winning that for me. The second one, I thought you might like this one, Goran, and we mentioned it when it might have been one of the last shows you were on, Dress Up Day at the Cricket. We talked wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
Wrestling, not my forte, but the old John Cena turned heel.
Did see that? Yep. Yeah. Saw a clip on social, what was it, yesterday or the day before? Kind of weird, really, but he's always been such a good guy. Yeah, and in the twilight of his career, mate, he's decided to turn heel.
Yeah, so I kind of, not following wrestling much, I kind of rated it coming out with The Rock. Oh, he didn't come out with The Rock, but sided with The Rock, who walked out with Travis Scott, and then giving Cody Rhodes the old kick in the nuts, and then a bit of slappage. And
slappage, is that his signature move, is it? Oh, it's the slappage.
Slappage.
Yeah, you definitely don't watch it. Neither do I. I used to, but I sort of reduced to just like social clips here and there these days. But yeah, John Cena, because I think he's like, this is his final year. He's gone out and had all these press conferences where he's saying like, this is the last time. It's my last ride. So we'll see where we get to. Yeah, very odd that he's decided to become a bad guy, but. I guess the new Netflix era, it's tossing up all sorts of stuff, for WWE now.
Yeah, exactly. And that's how I ended up watching. I went to the last 5 minutes of it. Some of my mates, the group chat, we were meant to be at Drake in a couple of weeks' time, and he cancelled his concert for scheduling conflicts. Turns out he's actually front row at the UFC. Not the UFC, sorry, the WWE.
He can't be bothered.
I was like, so we were just slating Drake, and then we go, oh, shit. Travis Scott's just walked out with The Rock, and now John Cena's gone mad. And so I flipped it on for the last 5 minutes and had to watch. But yeah.
So not so mad with Drake after all.
I mean,
still mad.
I've bought the tickets, flights, and accommodation, which I'm not getting a little bit mad.
Yeah.
That's all right. And then my third and final one for the weekend. The Black Caps obviously played India overnight. We've secured a semi, which is great. But the top part for me was the Indian politician, Sharma Mohammed. He's a spokesperson for the Congress. He called out Rohit Sharma, saying he is very fat for a sports person. He needs to lose weight and is, of course, the most unimpressive captain India's ever had.
Okay.
So absolutely slating Rohit Sharma.
So a bit of fat shaming, eh? Are we allowed to do that in 2025? I don't think we are.
Wow.
He's allowed to be as big or as little as he wants to be, right? As long as he's effective.
I mean, I've seen Rakeem Cornwall for the West Indies, and Rohit Sharma's not quite up to that standard. But if this politician, Sharma Mohammed, can slate him, I don't think his campaign or whatever he's trying to do is going to bode well after that.
Nah. Yeah, he's ripping on a national treasure, isn't he? Like anybody to do like connected to Indian cricket is a protected species. I mean, maybe he's sort of going down the Donald Trump inflammatory route, where he's just going to say something to get himself noticed and then work from there. But it's not the best place to go to, eh? Like ripping on a cricket.
No, I was reading into it a little bit, and it was all saying how the politicians usually, they love the cricketers, and it's a great way to get the support of the country because obviously everyone loves it all. And he's just gone the complete opposite route. So maybe he is just throwing a bit of a spanner in the works and seeing how it goes.
Yeah, well, let's get to the polls right now and check it out. Well, what happens with his result? Nobody voting for him.
Okay, let's park that there. We'll go to Vegas. Now, what did you think of the whole thing, Goran? Did you get any FOMO? Did you want to be there? The games? Let's see what you think.
Did I have any FOMO? That's a great question. I don't know if I did. I'm quite happy just watching the first round of the NRL. I don't need to go anywhere. If the Warriors are playing at home, maybe I'll head along to Go Media Stadium, Mount Smart. But I don't know. It just seems a little bit weird to me. Maybe in years 3, 4, and 5, when it becomes more traditional, dare I say the word, maybe I'll feel like I've missed out. But
yeah,
I don't know. I don't think I have that impression at the moment, especially with, like I'm an Eels supporter. So if Parramatta were playing and they had a great team and their chances were high of success that season, maybe I'd think about it. But no, I'm still a little bit like wishy-washy on the whole concept. What about you, man? Because I think pretty much all of our Betcha family managed to find themselves in Vegas. So you definitely would have had FOMO.
Yeah, my FOMO, of course I would have loved to be in Vegas. I mean, just jump at that opportunity. But all the content that was getting sent through to me to then post on the Instagram and the Facebook, and yeah, I was getting it all out there, but I wasn't the one actually doing it. So it was a bit of a dagger. But it looked like a lot of fun. It looked like a hectic 5 or 6 days. I just think, if looking back on it, knowing the result of how it went and I guess how debuzzed the game was after. And I mean, even at halftime, it sounded like after Metcalf threw that intercept and Xavier Savage went and scored that 90-meter try to make it 16-0, it sounded like the stadium went capiche and felt like game over there. So knowing how the result went, I'm not too worried about missing out on the game, but I would have loved to be in Vegas just for the experience.
Yeah, not even Savage could save it at halftime, when he started ripping up on the mic. But yeah, it was a disappointing performance from the Warriors because, look, at the beginning of every year, you look at their squad, you think, well, that's definitely a top 8 quality squad. And then they serve up absolute shite like they did against the Raiders. And Canberra were far from perfect. In the first half, they dropped so much ball in good area for the Warriors, and they just weren't able to capitalize on it. And I suppose the conversations have already begun amongst the fan base. Like, have they selected the right spine? And you look at Metcalf, he looks like quality. I think the jury's out on Chanel Harris-Tavita. I feel like he's more of an impact player and somebody you might sort of go to as a second cab off the rank sort of thing.
Yeah,
my personal preference, if everybody's fit and raring to go, I'd like to see Tamati Martin given the 7 jersey, put Luke Metcalf back in the 6. Because when we've seen Metcalf in the 6 previously, admittedly alongside Sean Johnson, it's worked a treat. He's a real runner of the ball. I don't know if maybe he doesn't have that quality to steer the ship.
Yeah,
in the 7 jersey. So yeah, I'd love to see Tamati Martin in 7.
Yeah,
Luke Metcalf in 6. Maybe Chanel provides a bit of impact off the bench if he's in there at all. And then, are we still going to have the conversation about fullback? Because Roger did really well on the wing, and I'm so glad that we're no longer talking about RTS as a centre.
Yeah,
but maybe he should play fullback. And this is the conversation we had all of last year. Like, why isn't he playing in the 1? And Chance, I don't know, man. Like when he booted, was it Corey Horsburgh in the shoulder as he was taking the high ball, and then later in the game he's under another high ball, and it's like he's adjusted his catching technique, and he's gone down so low that he's actually conceded a try. I think was it Hudson Young ran through and thighed it through for a try. So I don't know, man. Like there's already concern for me in the spine. There's also concern that a really good quality forward pack weren't able to lay a decent platform for those rock stars out the back as well.
Questions about whether Fisher Harris was actually there. Like he didn't provide much, did he?
No. So, disappointing all round, man. Like, what did you make of it? And what were the areas that you thought needed like change immediately for their next match against, I think it's Manly?
Yeah, I think lots of it was just sloppy stuff, right? And stuff you'd expect to see in the first couple of games of preseason and it get nutted out for round 1. I just think, obviously, I agree with you about getting Tamati Martin in the 7 jersey. I'd love that because I picked him in my fantasy draft as well. So it'd be great to get him involved.
Good for you,
for my team. And I picked him based on that reason that he's going to get a good run in it. So I'd like to see that happen. And RTS, he does have that X factor, and he's nice on the wing to have that finishing sort of product. But maybe when how far away is DWZ?
Not sure, but look, I think you've got to play your best players in their best positions, and it's something that we've been banging on about for way too long. I really do feel like Roger is a better option at one, and maybe you put Chance on a wing, or you do something with Chance and in the centres or the wing scenario. I just to have Roger with his hands on the ball more often than not, I think that would pay dividends. But I get the sense that Andrew Webster he's set up his stall. And as far back as like a year and a half ago when he said, "Oh, don't worry, Chance, Roger's coming to the Warriors, but you're my fullback." And he's just stuck to it for 18 months. Well, at some point, mate, you got to change your mind. It doesn't seem to be working.
Well, that's the thing. If it's not working, you got to change it, and that's what we haven't really seen. So hopefully it's a bit of a wake-up call for the Warriors round one, because I was looking at the odds earlier, and they're now second to bottom to have the most amount of wins.
Really?
Most amount of losses, sorry.
Right, yeah. Okay, wow. Yeah. Well, that's changed pretty rapidly.
Yeah, I mean, the bookies have reacted very quickly to that, and it sounds like the fans are too, because after that performance, there's not a lot of hope unless things do change, I guess.
Yeah. And look, another way of looking at it is it's just one game, and it's very early in the season, and you don't win the NRL in March.
No.
But yeah.
And I guess you're under lights, Las Vegas, all eyes are on you.
But everybody is. Everybody's got the same scenario.
Oh, yeah.
And the Raiders, it looks like such an inexperienced side. And they were able to put 30 on them. A lot of punters were picking the Raiders, especially like myself and Adam. We were having a chat on League of Our Own last week. We thought that the Raiders would be right down the bottom of the ladder,
contending for the spoon, right?
Yeah. So at some point, probably September, we'll figure out how bad this loss really was for the Warriors. Are the Warriors a top 8 team? And are the Raiders a wooden spoon contender, or is it the reverse of that? So, yeah, we've got to wait a little bit of time to figure out how bad the result is. But in isolation, it looks like a shocker when Warriors supporters have been so barred up for what might be, you're finally putting RTS in a position that he likes and is good at. You've got James Fisher-Harris, a wonderful replacement for Adam Fanua-Blake, and he doesn't turn up. Yeah.
And then Fanua-Blake goes and hammers the last nail in by scoring his try and his premiership debut for the Sharks. What do you make of that game against the Panthers?
It was night and day in terms of quality, wasn't it? The Raiders-Warriors game was almost a snore fest. And then you've got two teams that should be contending for the title. And that was the feature game, wasn't it? It just goes to show Ivan Cleary, Nathan Cleary, Isaiah Yeo, Chuck in the mix, even though he had a bad game, Dylan Edwards at the back. You've got like a core of player, coach, and it doesn't matter who you lose. No. You just find these extra limbs and chuck them in, and they seem to be able to do a job. I honestly thought the Sharks were going to tip them up. There was just so much change for the Panthers, and there has been over the last 4 or 5 seasons. I figured that they had issues in the halves with Jerome Luai heading to the Tigers. They didn't know whether they were going to play Jack Cole or Blaise Talangi alongside Nathan Cleary. It didn't matter. It didn't matter because as long as you got Nathan,
exactly,
the game's easy, man.
Once you got that winning formula, and a winning attitude, it's hard to kind of beat down. And they didn't miss a beat. I mean, they look like they are the 4-time champions and could seriously be in for 5 on the trot after that game. Because lots of people like you were tipping the Sharks. I think we had about 60% of the money on the game was on the Sharks to win head to head. So a lot of people with you there.
I had a nightmare in the opening day of the NRL season. So I did a multi where I had the Warriors to win. I had Aaron Clark to score a try. And even though he had a reasonable game, didn't score. I had Ronaldo Mulatalo to score a try. Didn't. Sharks to win. So,
so you went 0 for 4.
I had an absolute stinker.
That's almost harder to do than go 4 for 4.
Yeah.
0 for 4. Like,
yeah.
because you're obviously picking bets you think you're going to win, right? You're not picking bets to
Well, that's the name of the game, Charlie. Come on, mate.
go 9-0 for 4 is almost more impressive.
I mean, is that what I should be doing? Like a bit of reverse psychology? Go the bets that I don't think are going to occur.
Well, kind of seems to be the theme with one of the bets we're doing on our Thursday one is we've got our lock and our laugh at the moment. So your absolute lock for the weekend and a bit of a laugh, like long odds, kind of long shot.
Yeah.
And every single one of my locks, the opposite result has happened. So
it was unlocked.
It was unlocked. The lock was unlocked. So I think this week I'm going to reverse it. And I had Auckland FC to win this weekend, just gone. And obviously the 4-4 draw. But
wow. Yeah.
what a shambles that was. But yeah, I mean, it just seems to be fading. What you think might happen at the moment could be the move.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind for this weekend.
Yeah. Keep that in mind and see how you go. Let me know next week if you have any better luck. Or
yeah, sure.
I could just follow along on your profiles.
Oh, you could do that, yeah. No, I'll reach out to you, mate. I'll send you a message. I'll say, yeah, I had great success with my my laughs, but not my locks.
Exactly. Yeah. Now, have you been watching any Super Rugby at all? No, none at all.
Not a second, mate.
Not even a second.
Just does not interest me in the slightest, eh?
Fair enough. I mean, the product has been a lot better this year. I think they've marketed it a lot better as well for the fantasy stuff.
That's something that's had to have happened for a long time, eh?
Yeah, they're very late on that movement.
Yeah.
Very late. But it's working well. It's got people engaged more, which is good to see. And I think out of the last 4 or 5 years, they're putting up the best numbers viewership-wise. Maybe not at the stadium. And I was having a good chat with one of my mates how we fixed the atmosphere at Super Rugby, but that's a long way down the track, I think.
Okay, I'm really fascinated in the attendance at Super Rugby games in New Zealand. Like, has it been noticeably poor to start the season?
Not noticeably, but when you're talking about, and there's all these positive comments about how good Super Rugby's been to start the season and how good the teams are. It's the closest competition we've had in years. But guys still just aren't turning out. It's not taking a drastic improvement in terms of bums on seats at stadiums. I think viewership-wise on TV, yeah. And I mean, you get a much better experience at home at the moment where you're not paying $20 for a hot dog, $40 for a ticket and going just to watch the game. Whereas I guess something which was great about Vegas is there was all this other stuff other than just the game for fans to do and be around. And we've talked about this before with tailgates and, you know, activations at the stadiums. And rugby, they just still don't do any of it.
Yeah, and the interesting thing for me is like rugby is the national sport in New Zealand, yet the crowd's dipping away. And you've got sports like rugby league and football. Auckland FC are creaming it at Mount Smart. You know, they had 27,000 there for the third derby. I think it was 16,000 for the 4-4 draw with Adelaide. Yep. So, yeah, it is this weird sort of scenario where the majority of New Zealanders should be barring up for rugby. They're not. They're barring up for other things.
Yeah, and I think it's because these other things do well, right? And at Mount Smart, it's a much better atmosphere. It's a small
You've got the
stadium.
slide down the hill, Charlie. You had the beach as well. Like, what more could you ask for?
And I think like Lilyworld as well at the start is
that's
a great way to get people in and around the stadium before the game too.
Yeah.
Like nothing for Eden Park or your Sky Stadiums that do something like that. So
that's where your tailgating comes in, man.
Exactly. But so my question for you is, should Super Rugby, whether you like it or not, do something like a Vegas to kick off the season? It doesn't have to be Vegas, but head off somewhere, create a bit of hype around it, a fan zone. Should they do something like that?
No way. They had, a super round for a number of years in Melbourne, and it just died in the arse, didn't it? Nobody turned up to it. If you take it to anywhere else, stuff all fans are going to travel to it, mate. Like, if we're finding it hard enough as it is to head to our local stadium to support our team, you're not going to jump on a plane and seek out accommodation and all that sort of stuff to... it's just not going to work. It's not going to work. It's a no for me. What about you?
The only way I could see it working is if you have it in Fiji. Just because, I mean, the infrastructure might not be there, but from my experience being at a draw game in Dinnerau was unbelievable. One of the coolest sporting things I've been to.
When was that? When did you go?
Against the Blues. Was it last year or the year before? It might have been last year because it was the only home game they lost.
Right, okay.
They won 6 out of 7 home games last year, and I was at the one they lost.
Where did you stay when you were over there?
I was at the Hilton.
Oh la la.
Yeah.
Very nice.
One of the friends has a little link up at the Hilton, so we managed 7 of us were there, and we got on the bus out to whatever stadium it was. But very cool experience. And the only reason I say Fiji is because you can make a holiday out of going to these games, and it might just be 2 games to start the round. On a Friday night, it'll be the Drua and someone and 2 New Zealand teams, or the Drua and the Crusaders versus the Brumbies and the Chiefs.
The problem I see there is that the best time of year, personally, to go to Fiji is the middle of the year. So you couldn't actually have the season opener for Super Rugby because it's getting underway in February. And I think that's their wet, rainy season, isn't it? So it sort of poo-poos the idea of a season opener, around Dinnerau Island.
Yeah, that's fair. And I guess people like to get away to Fiji or the islands in the bleak of our winter too.
Exactly. So. It's pissing down with rain. It's cold. You don't want to go outside. And then all of a sudden, 3 hours north in a plane, and you're in glorious sunshine, 30-degree temperatures.
Yeah, so, no, I see that. It's the only way I could kind of think of it working. Other than that, no, because they did have that super round in Melbourne, and it sucked.
It was not super. It was anything but.
Have you seen the super hero jerseys?
No.
Cool. So I think, what is it? The Crusaders have Iron Man. The Blues are Spider-Man. Highlanders are the Hulk. Chiefs are Black Panther. And Hurricanes are Captain America. So they've got a superhero jerseys. Quite cool.
Who's your favorite superhero?
Great question. My favorite jersey of the 5 is the Black Panther one.
Okay.
For the Chiefs. That's very cool. My favorite superhero, maybe Thor.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go with Thor.
Yeah, mine was always Batman. I haven't been a superhero guy growing up, but me and my best mate loved old school Batman because it was just like comedy value overload. Yep. Like Adam West asking Robin for the shark repellent bat spray when there's like a rubber shark attached to his leg and he's like trying to get into the utility belt. Like that sort of stuff just cracked me up. So I'm a Batman guy and I love Christian Bale in that trilogy. So I think that's as far as I go though.
As far as you go in terms of superheroes. So more on the DC side of things rather than Marvel.
It seems that way. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, all right. Let's. So you were at the Auckland FC third derby game against the Knicks. How was that? Was that better than the second one? Obviously, a bit of a trouncing for a Phoenix fan like yourself.
Was it better than the second one? It's hard to answer. It was an incredible atmosphere, but as a Knicks supporter, I didn't want to see the black and yellow ship 6. But it really is wonderful to see that level of support and the passion that just exudes from the fans in the stadium, and to think like we haven't had this before. What we've been missing out on over the years. It was a really cool time, and you mentioned Lily World earlier. I was in there for maybe 2 hours, 2 and a bit hours, getting some content for Betcha, just asking people, is it Auckland FC's year? And if you're a Phoenix supporter and they don't make the playoffs, are you going to get in behind Auckland FC? And to a man and woman, everybody was jovial. It was all good-natured banter. Like nobody felt under threat or anything like that for the jersey that they were wearing. Yeah, I mean, look, there was one guy who got up in my grill, but like that's the exception to the rule. Everybody is just super chill, there to have a good time. There is sort of like a little bit of niggle that needs to be stamped out. And I saw earlier today on the Port socials, they're actually calling on people in their bay to stop throwing beer cans because they don't want like this awesome experience to be tarnished by a select few.
Don't want to ruin a good thing.
Yeah. So it's really cool to see them go to those lengths and those measures and try and like call out the people who are, can you call it supporting in the wrong manner? I don't think that's support, but it was a really cool afternoon, bar the result. Like I was gutted at full time, thinking, oh geez, like what does it actually do to the Wellington Phoenix? Like it's one hell of a blow to land in the New Zealand derby, and they'll be replaying this shit for years. Mm-hmm. Like the day that Logan Rogerson eventually scored 3 and Neidar Moreno got a brace and hammered them to the tune of 6-1. Like So I'm sort of conflicted, mate. Like I love what it means for New Zealand football because it's really putting it up on a pedestal. But I hated what it meant for the Phoenix.
I hated what you saw from a fan's perspective.
I
was pretty surprised actually to see the amount of people that said they'd jump on the Auckland FC bandwagon if the Phoenix weren't to make the finals and Auckland FC were. I fully rate it because it's supporting New Zealand because at that stage it's New Zealand against the world. But I was kind of taken back. I thought the Phoenix fans would be a little less likely to jump on board.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a blanket rule for all of them, though, was it? Some would say, we will get in behind Auckland, and others wouldn't. But I don't know. I'm primarily I am a Wellington Phoenix supporter. Yeah. But when Auckland play, and they're not playing against Wellington, I want them to win. And if the Phoenix aren't going to be in the playoffs, I want Auckland to win the damn thing. So, I can understand both sides. I don't think the rivalry is as intense and as, fiery as some of the other rivalries that you see around planet Earth that have been bedded in for, more than a century. Yeah. And there are real reasons why two towns hate each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Proper reasons.
Proper reasons, not just like, oh, you've been shit in the A-League for years and we're coming to save you. So, I can understand why people are going to get in behind Auckland because it's a Kiwi team. And at the end of the day, do we want Kiwis to thrive? Of course we do.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. But so what? Because there's a massive thing about if Auckland come in and win it year one and the Phoenix have been trying for how many years and haven't got there. That's a massive kick in the guts for the Knicks fans, surely.
Yeah, it is, but I think it's different approaches as well, eh? I think the Wellington Phoenix have been probably a little more cautious, a bit more careful with their roster creation over the years. Mm-hmm. And Bill Foley has come in, the Texan billionaire, and he's gone, he's swinging for the hills, isn't he?
Yeah.
And he's put together, Steve Corica, Danny Hay and company, they've put together a really good squad, great depth. And you just needed to see that match, the third derby, to see the differences between the squad depth. Giancarlo Italiano is bringing kids off the bench primarily. And who's Corica bringing off the bench? It's Cam Howison, who's probably been A-League quality for years and years and years and has finally got his chance. I think Louis Vestrata was on the bench as well. And so, it was chalk and cheese, man. And I would be, at this point, I would be shocked if Auckland didn't win. I think they win. They are in the box seat for the minor premiership. And from that point, you get a week off in the first week of playoffs. I think across 2 legs against anybody, they will win. And then what? You're going to host a grand final in your first year.
That would be unbelievable. That would be an unreal atmosphere. They're $3.50 favourites to win. So you're saying that's a good bet to take out the whole thing?
Yeah. In fact, you just saying that has convinced me to get on it right now. So once we're done with this chat, I'll get on Auckland at $3.50.
I hope they're still at $3.50 because I jumped. I hope I didn't move them. I don't think I'm quite a needle mover in terms of where the money
you
goes.
You might be.
You never know. I might have a little bit of sway. All right, so we're pretty close to wrapping it up. We got Champions League tomorrow. I'm forgetting about the Premier League. That's yours. Well done, mate. Fair play.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, it's in the bag. It's in the bag.
Are you one of those guys where it's in the bag?
It's in the bag, yeah.
So our resident Liverpool fan here, he's not quite...
Oh, Lee, he was emailing me while he was in Vegas, concerned about Liverpool like choking and stumbling and mucking it all up. And I'm like, bro, just chill. Like, we've got this. And in the time that he's been away, I think Liverpool beat Man City and Newcastle. It's like they've extended their lead. They've got 10 games to play. It's in the bag. It's done.
And in that time, Arsenal have lost and drawn as well. So
yeah.
I'm
sorry about that, Charlie.
Happy to give that to you guys, and well done. So I'm focusing on the Champions League tomorrow. I've got PSV and Liverpool coming up against PSG, round of 16. How do you like your chances against PSG?
Really, really like them, mate. I honestly can't see Liverpool doing any worse than making the final.
Wow.
They've had that kind of year, man.
Yeah. I mean, if it's all clicking at the right time.
So you put anybody in front of us and we'll find a way to get past them. That's my approach.
I like it. We've got PSV first up. I think we get through them, and then it's either Atletico or Real Madrid, I believe, that we draw. So,
but you guys have got issues with your squad, eh? Like you've got a number of players out injured still, yeah?
Yeah, it's tough sledding. Yeah. It's tough sledding. So then we'll go on to, I guess, the Black Caps. So we've got their semi against South Africa in the ICC Champions Trophy. And if they can get past that hurdle, they'll take on India or Australia. I hope it's Australia, so then the final can be played in Pakistan. Rather than India playing the Pakistan ICC Champions Trophy in Dubai. That would kind of suck.
Yeah, it would. South Africa in a semi, though, I feel pretty confident about the Black Caps' chances because South Africa's history in ICC tournaments, it's not flash, is it? So you got to go back. I think it's all the way back to 1998 when they. I'm pretty sure 1998 did they win the Champions Trophy, and that is their only ICC trophy that they've won. Yeah. So they've got a history of just bottling it in big games and in tournaments. So. Here's to you, South Africa. Do it again.
And I think we've done extremely well losing to India because that means we draw South Africa and India have to go and play Australia. So
you're not talking about match fixing, are you?
No. Not around here.
No. But, we don't do that. We don't encourage it. It doesn't happen.
No, but the Black Caps have played that extremely well. To draw South Africa, who can't get past a semi-final, it seems. And hopefully, I'd like to see us take on Australia and beat them in the final. You
beauty. Yeah. Oh, that'd be a dream. Anytime we can stuff the Aussies, mate, it's a great day.
I agree. I very much agree. And Aussie, I think looking into this one, I did something around them having not won a game at the ICC Champions Trophy since 2007. Purely because of rainouts. And COVID. But I've dated back to 2007 before they won, but that is when they won their last Champions Trophy game, which was the final against New Zealand. So hopefully we can rewrite history and do it again. Black Caps coming out on top this time around.
Sounds good. And so the Black Caps play tomorrow, is it?
Tomorrow night. Is it Australia, India tonight? Potentially.
And then if you need me on Thursday, we'll be saying, oh, geez, how about South Africa winning through?
Yeah. Because actually, bet on South Africa, Goran.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. Don't do the lock, do the laugh.
So you go and put your money on Auckland FC. I'm going to go put my money on South Africa to win the semi-final.
Yeah, okay. You do that. Sounds like a plan, man.
All right, we'll leave it there. Once again, thank you for joining, Goran. Much appreciated. And maybe we might catch you later in the week for a bit of a preview.
Yeah, just depends on what Phil's up to, mate.
Who knows?
Good to see you, Charlie.
Thanks for listening, and we will catch you next time.